Do you feel like everything you do is being watched? Do you feel like everything you say might be used in a court against you? Today's video, we delve into the ways the police gains information about you during a police investigation to use that against you in court. Number one, seizing your phone. They might seize your phone because the organization you might be working for or doing is a criminal organization, and you might be caught in a raid. The thing is, your phone being seized is the worst thing, is because everything you have in this phone might be different crimes, different things that are not related to the crime that you have been arrested or investigated through. So, like they say, everything you do and say might be used in a court of law, and you have a right to an attorney. But where's your private freedoms once they clone your phone and use all the information that they gain from that phone against you? One of the most famous cases is 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine was arrested for some minor things before he got arrested for the RICO law. So what the FBI did is they arrested him for something minor, cloned his phone, and watched what he was doing. So by the time he was arrested, there was so much proof against him that he didn't even stand a chance if he went to court. And this is what the police does, okay? They just clone the phone and they can see all the information, everything you do, your coordinates, your place, your actions. They can see every transaction. And what the FBI does usually is just that they wait that you have done all the crimes, and once you have so much proof against you, only then they start the case. And the most screwed up thing about this is that your Apple ID might be tied to your new phone. So if your phone gets seized, you might get a new phone. But if you have the same Apple ID and they have cloned your phone, you have probably the same block code and the same password, they still can follow your actions. So yeah, I think it's screwed up, honestly. And the next tactic is saying in investigations that they are for your interests. The thing is, what the police want is proof. They want witnesses. They want results. So if you can't offer them results or any information in this case, they will tell you that you are facing big time, but not always you're facing big time. And the thing is, they use these methods in like situations where they're like serial killers, murderers, school shooters, where they act nice to the school shooter so that the person that is a school shooter tells them what happens. So this is why they do this. If you think about it, it's actually good that they do this. But they also do this in minor cases where there's an investigation for something that's not really that serious. But if they gain enough proof or witness statements, that they can use that against you. And sometimes witnesses spread misinformation about their colleagues, other people, to gain more freedom and gain more rights. Police will say these type of things. Oh yeah, I am in your interest. I am your friend, right? And then months later, they'll call you and tell you that you're under a serious police investigation. You can't leave the country. You have to get a lawyer and everything, even though the case hasn't even been approved by the prosecutor. If they want to pin a criminal case against you, they need an approval by the prosecutor. And so the one thing that they can do is try to scare you, or use tactics like, I am your friend, I am your bestie, even though all they want is just to fill quotas. Number 3 is, how do they get this information? Because the thing is, in order for them to investigate someone without the person knowing that they're being investigated, they have to be approved by some kind of like police director. But if you watch the series Breaking Bad, where the antagonist, Hank Schrader, is trying to gain proof against the people that he accuses, a lot of times he uses illegal ways to gain proof. And why do you think that that is not happening in real life? Because the problem where most lawyers say about the accusations is, how does that police officer actually gain that proof? Because sometimes the police uses illegal methods to get proof, to get some insights on some information. I don't know about you, but that's kind of scary to me, honestly. And also during like a raid, they can start interrogating you without telling you that you have a right to a lawyer. But here's the thing, you always have a right to a lawyer. Even if you like start a new job, you can get a lawyer to read the full contract, because usually sometimes a contract is like 50 pages and you don't want to read it, so you can hire a lawyer and they can check all the rights. There's so many cases where you can use a lawyer, and so it is an obligation for the police to inform you that you might be in risk of an investigation. So is your right to a lawyer or an attorney. This is your right that is protected by the law, and also the government offers you free lawyers to protect your rights. But sometimes police officers don't even mention to you that you need a lawyer, and they just outright start investigating you, and you don't even know it, because they don't have to tell you that they're investigating you. They only have to tell you that you're under a criminal case once all the proof has already been seized. The next thing that the police does that is unsettling, that's number 4, is trying to charge you for every misdemeanor. In my case, they try to charge a misdemeanor to a criminal case even though the prosecutor refused the case. And so basically, why does the police try to put you in a misdemeanor as a serious charge? Because they just want easier results. Because the police is like a company or a government organization where they have to get the arrest, where they have to get the results, because governments have told them that they have to meet some results. Where the problem starts here is basically when the police starts looking at misdemeanors and on serious charges, then crime rises, because basically if they try to solve crime and they are rated for their quality, then they have no results, because like, look, they're looking at this serious drug case or serial killer case, but the government or like the director of the police is saying, well, you have no results. So what they do is try to put every misdemeanor as a criminal case, and they might try to charge you with every misdemeanor that you get. Maybe you open an alcohol bottle, boom, misdemeanor. Maybe you do a speeding ticket, boom, misdemeanor. And then number 6 is R.I.C.O. It means racketeer, influenced, and corrupt organizations. It was originally targeted to target mafia organizations and other criminal organizations. So let's say for the scenario, back in the day when nobody was using records, nobody was recording calls, nobody was using wiretaps, the mafia had an easy time to get away. The most famous case is John Gotti. John Gotti could kill someone, or maybe tell someone else to do the killing, and he would get away scot-free. Up until they started the RICO law, where they started playing like every person is a role. So like if you are the main head or the person that controls the organization, and you tell someone to kill someone, or you tell someone to do some kind of order, then you're the mastermind of the organization. If you're a person that's like related to these criminals, maybe a family member, they could charge you as an accessory to the crime. Because you knew that this crime was happening, now automatically you are tied and associated to the crime. And you see how this can go serious. So imagine if someone does a crime out of your family that's out of your control, but you knew that, and then they realize that you knew that, now boom, you are an accessory. That's one of the reasons why Saul Goodman got so many years without killing anyone. So if you're a criminal, there's like 3 industries that you probably should not fuck. So number 1 is money, the IRS. So like Al Capone, basically he could get away from any crime because there was no recording, no wiretaps. He could scare off all the witnesses. This is why for some time mafia had such a good time using their crimes by fixing games, illegal building industries like in New York. They couldn't arrest Al Capone for anything until they saw that he was not paying taxes. And that's when they got him, bro. If you see this like episode from Batman where Joker says, I am crazy to take on Batman, but I'm not crazy enough to take on the IRS. And number 2, terrorist organization. Okay, look at 9/11, look at everything that is happening. Okay, in situations where there are terrorists, the FBI asked Apple to unblock a phone that was an Apple phone that belonged to a terrorist that died when he was doing the terrorist act. Number three, drugs. Because most governments have big campaigns to go war on drugs. For instance, the most famous case is the US. It's funny how someone who does a dangerous crime like sexual misconduct, they don't get anything, right? But someone who gets caught for a couple of grams of a substance, they can have their life taken away from them forever. There's so much money in the drug trade that the IRS wants a piece. The next thing that the police can do is freeze your bank account. During a criminal case, the police can freeze your bank account, take away your passport, and even sometimes freeze your estates. For instance, like a house that you own, but because there's a criminal case associated with the house, your right to the house might be frozen. So you might not even have the right to live in that house during a criminal case. And criminal cases take years to be solved. So during that time, you have no access to the money that you need to fight off the criminal case. And it's you, just one physical person, against the state and the government. And the police can freeze your bank account even if you get caught with a misdemeanor, for instance, like a speeding ticket. I remember I had a colleague who was an accountant in the company I worked for, and she got caught with a speeding ticket, but she didn't pay it off in 30 days, so they froze her bank account. So how is she supposed to pay her fine if she doesn't even have access to the bank account? And then number 10, they can arrest you in a case where, like, let's say you are walking and someone just starts fighting with you. So you're like asking this person, please, do not fight, do not aggravate me. And now you're defending yourself. So you call the police to tell them that this person unwarrantedly attacked you. But the police might charge you because they don't care who started the fight. They just want to see who is hitting when they pull up. When the police comes, the person that they see is hitting, that is the person that they charge. Or sometimes they can charge both of the people. So sometimes you might be innocent, someone just unknowingly assaults you, and boom, now you're tied to the crime. And number 11 is the most obvious one, police brutality. The thing is, this is a big problem in many countries outside of the US. US is one of the most scandalous countries when it comes to police brutality. But there has been many situations where there's been people that have been shot just because of their race or color or just them being in the wrong place. One of the most popular cases is when a police gets an approval for a raid. Sometimes they raid the wrong house, and then when they raid in a house, they smash the door. But the question is, do they pay for fixing the doors? I don't know. Is that if you make a party, let's say at a Saturday, and you're being super loud, and now your neighbors call the police comes to your door, and you open the door. Well, now the police can get in your house. You knew that, right? But the thing is, there's this one girl in a party that told me that if you are in a party and your neighbors call the police and they come to your door, if they don't have a raid warrant that is approved by a judge, they don't have the right to come to your house. So what you have to do is just not open the door. Another thing the police does is that they are law protectors, right? So they essentially protect laws, but they also lobby the government to pass laws to make their investigations easy. And this makes your case even harder. And then it's an act of bipartisan where, like, let's say a police officer is chasing down some criminal, like the Will Smith movie, where they are chasing the bad guy and now their car broke. Now they can legally just take your car to drive and catch that person. But will they cover the cost for your car once they get your car back? I don't know. Even in cases like where there's a war, the police can seize your bank accounts, your stuff, in order to catch someone while they are trying to catch them. So I think that is during crisis situations like a war or like a pandemic, for example, COVID, they can do raids in houses without a warrant. I understand that it's a crisis situation, but you understand what that stands for law. Basically, the government can say in any situation that there's a crisis, and because of a crisis, the police or the authorities can just use draconian ways to gain information. Last thing is that sometimes politicians can shape the way police officers think, because not every government or every country has a police force independent from the government, and sometimes the government controls the police and what they do and what they investigate. So if there's someone that is against the government and says things that are against the government, some politician can use selectively to police to pin a case on someone that's completely innocent. So yeah guys, if I didn't mention any other way the police uses to get proof about you, please mention that in the comments. And if you like this video, feel free to press like and subscribe for more videos like this, because I upload these type of videos every week on this YouTube channel. So it's been your boy. Peace.